read without them. Okay, hey, good morning, you guys. Tricia Turner here with another episode of Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. This morning, you guys, I got a special treat for y'all. Well, every morning is a special treat in April, but this morning, I've got two power women in real estate. These are the Power Girls, and they have come to me from Sekou, who I talked to yesterday, a dear friend of mine. They work with him, and so I am going to let them introduce themselves to you because one of them has a difficult first name, and I'm terrible at butchering people's names, so I'm not even going to do that. So I'm going to introduce the Power Girls to you guys. Y'all, Tatiana, let's start with you. Tell everybody, of course, your name, where you are in the United States, and how you work together with Sekou, what organization you guys belong to, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Tatiana Leon. I'm based out of Bergen County. I'm in Maywood, but we're tiny here, so we have most like Bergen. We go by counties. So I'm in Bergen County, New Jersey, which is northern New Jersey, right by New York City.
And what organization are you part of?
Oh yeah, so with EXP, Sekou is my coach. He is the one that drives me. It's like, what are your numbers? What are you doing today? Did you call your people? Did you meet your numbers? He's, as he likes to call himself, my gorilla that keeps me in check.
Love that. He's awesome. And then you have a partner. You guys have a team, right?
Yeah. So
and your partner is
Holjanys.
Hi, I'm Holjanys, and I'm in Jersey City, New Jersey. So we focus on Hudson County. I'm also with the DeVoe Group, coached by Sekou.
And tell everybody a little bit of backstory about you guys, because y'all haven't been working together that long, but you're both moms. You both have two children. So what formed this partnership that you guys have created, and what already are you seeing as added benefits to that?
So we met a year and change, probably like a year and a half ago. We both were introduced to Sekou's Appointment Academy. Last year, the year before that,
the year before
March. And so I walked in, and I was late the first day, obviously, because I had to drop off kids. So then I get there, I like shuffled in and sat there. And so we were there for a whole week. And throughout that time, we got to, come into contact with each other. We started, socializing and getting to know each other a little bit, but it was mostly on the professional side. We were still at two different brokerages. We weren't with EXP yet. And, then after that, I didn't get to see her till a little bit later on, like 2-3 months later, once I was already part of EXP.
Okay. And so the purpose in your partnership, your team, was to help each other, because one of you is still a single mom, but the challenges of being a mom, especially being a mom in real estate, raising kids, no matter what age they are, we're 24/7 as moms, 24/7 in real estate if you're trying to be successful. So was that the reason to form the partnership that you guys have?
Yes, basically. Well, like she said, she came in one day. She was the one of the days that we lead generate at nighttime. She came with the kids. And basically I just jumped in and started helping her, because I what's the word? I resonated with it. Like I had been gone. I went through it previously when my kids were little. They're teenagers now, which is not that easy. So I basically just started helping her, and that's when we started working together.
Yeah. And already, what have you seen as added benefits of having you two to lean on each other? How has that helped you grow your business?
So it's been really great. So we lead gen in the morning, 8 to 11. So we hold each other accountable for getting up at the time. Like we try to get up at like 5, right? To try and get extra things done before we even have to think about where the kids need to be. So we hold each other accountable. Like if one doesn't call the other person, like we're always checking in on each other. Are you up? Did you stay? Because sometimes you have those tough days, or you stayed up late cleaning, or, whatever it is, or helping with homework, and so we keep each other accountable. Like, okay, are you up? Let's go. Come on, we got to do this. Or especially when we have those tough days where either we lose a deal or inspection goes terribly wrong, and you're just like, you get hit by the truck that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
So we sort of keep ourselves in check and try to be like, listen, it's okay. We just got to keep going. right? So we help each other in that way. Another way that we help each other is a lot by utilizing each other's time and schedules differently, because I'm obviously somewhere by really early afternoon for pickup. And she's okay. She doesn't have to be there. So any of the early appointments or any of the early phone calls or meeting with sellers or buyers, she takes care of. And then anything after a certain amount of time where I've already finished with doing my crazy run around with the kids, then I take care of. And then on the weekends, we take this day or we take that day and we schedule each other. So if she needs Saturday off, then I will take Saturday. And then, or if she needs to do something Sunday and I can do it, then that's how we work with each other. And then if I can't get to showings or go to a listing appointment, then she will squeeze it into her schedule. And so we bounce off of each other to be able to still be productive and not let our regular lives like sort of interfere and put more friction on getting to meet that client or closing that contract or getting that showing, which is going to ultimately help you put in that offer that's going to get accepted.
Definitely. So
and also that she being, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Being that she's in Bergen County and I'm in Hudson County, we also bounce off each other like that. Like if, like she said, if I get a lead, which is in Bergen County and it's easier for her to get to it or closer over there, then she goes to it. Or if it's over here, then, you know, I go to, and we work together like that. We bounce off each other ideas.
So prior to you guys forming your own team, had either one of you been on a team per se or had your own?
No, okay. So I have had like
we're part of the devote
buyers,
right?
I had other buyers agents like help me because I wouldn't be able to service all the buyers because for my first couple of years I was very buyer heavy. So I had other people that I would give client or like pretty much refer them out and have like buyers agents show, and then we would work the deal together. But that was really hard because they might have been like newer agents where they were just trying it out. So it was the whole trying to get them to teaching them how to do the real estate portion of it, but also seeing if they were committed enough. And sometimes what happens with people that want to do it part-time is that when it comes down to the hard work, which is working weekends and evenings, they're like, yeah, maybe I won't show up. So I had a tough time with some agents. Like, they're like, okay, I already set up all the showings. This is where you're going to go. I laid it out. This is the map. This is from the closest to your house or wherever they were. I would map it, right?
She's the manager. She managed that.
Clearly. Oh my God.
Like, oh, something came up. I can't make them. And I'm like, okay. Like, and so it's like half an hour before. So then like I had to shuffle, get the kids in the car, try to like figure out, because obviously you don't want to look unprofessional to your client. And that you're shuffling. So I was like, oh, something came up. They weren't able to. So, and I was like, and my babysitter couldn't make it, or, you know, and so most of them were like, oh, it's okay. We understand. But others were like, why are there kids here? Like,
right.
Yeah. So
with the coronavirus right now, you know, everyone's got shelter in place. Everyone's having to work from home. Now here in Houston, we're starting to get out a little bit more. So you guys there, how has that impacted you with your kids are not at school right now? So how has it impacted you and how has it helped you by having each other to lean on? What are you guys doing differently?
Well, virtual tours. There's a lot of virtual tours. In my case, my kids are teenagers. So for the most part, they do their work on their own. So in that sense, aside from the fact that I have to be cooking all the time, it really hasn't affected me when it comes to having to sit down and work with the kids. Tatiana, on the other hand, her daughter's only in the first grade. So she has to sit and do the work with her. So again, the same thing. We just schedule each other out. We're not going out a lot. So it's a lot of virtual touring going on. Obviously, the lead generating is better because people are home. So, I mean, it's to me, it hasn't really impacted that much. Tatiana, it's a little rough on her because she's working with the kids.
So, Holjanys, before you were married, you were a single mom and you were in real estate, correct?
No, I started real estate at the same time I got married.
Okay.
So I was in corporate.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh. Okay. So getting into real estate, what has been some of the challenges that you've had to go through to get you where you are now? And what are some of the things that you could share with others that would help them get through maybe a time of uncertainty or a harder time in real estate?
One of the challenges, major challenges, have been getting my family to understand that I am working. Even if I'm home, I'm still working. You know, when I'm home, they feel like, oh, mommy's here. So we can talk to her. So one thing that I've done is basically educate them and teach them, let them know what our goals are. We basically put together the goals as a family. So they understand that I have to work longer hours. And at the beginning, they were like, Mommy, you're always on the phone now. We thought we were going to have you home. Now they understand. Now they're like, okay, we get it. So one advice that I can give somebody is just to talk to your family openly. Make sure that you put together the goals as a family rather than, because I've had some friends in the business that it's hard for them to communicate with their families, and that puts a dent in the relationship. So that's one advice that I would give people. Make sure that you talk to your kids. They understand. Like when I became a realtor, my daughter was like, oh, we're going to be rich. She didn't know. My oldest daughter, she didn't know that I had to put in the hours. So talking to them, letting them see you. I actually, because they're older, I have them work a lot of the admin stuff for me also. So that helps, they see that it takes work.
I think with kids when they're young, mine are also older now. And I know my daughter, I have two boys and a girl. My daughter is my youngest. And so she was clinging to me forever. And so I was a single mom also for many, many years, probably 6 or 7 years, almost 8. And so I took her to work with me most of the time because she didn't want to be with her brothers. And so I can remember, oh my gosh, probably 10 years ago, I've always kind of tried to head for the luxury market. And so I was out and I would take her to show property with me. And I was out showing luxury homes and I had her with me. And I think she was probably 7 maybe at the time. And she was like, oh my gosh, these houses are so pretty, Mom. And she at that time wanted to be a hairdresser. And she goes, that's the kind of house I want to be when I grow up. And I go, okay, and you want to be a hairdresser? And she's like, yeah, do you think that would be do you think that would be possible? And I was like, I don't really think so. I think we're going to need to relook at your goals and what you want to do in your life. So I used it always as like a teaching experience for her, because it's like, okay, you see these big houses. That's probably not what you're going to be able to afford as a hairdresser, unfortunately.
Right.
But I'm helping you there. Or you can get into real estate too. And she's always seen how hard I've worked, and because I started with her, and I've always worked, I'm just a hustler. So I've always worked long hours. And now probably like 2 weeks ago, we were at, we have a lake house and we were there. And one of her girlfriends said to me, Ava is so proud of you. She talks about you all the time. And she says that you're the hardest working mom she's ever met. And she so admires you. And I thought, wow, because my daughter's so it's like, normally they don't tell you that kind of stuff.
They don't tell you that.
No, it's like you have to keep putting in the work day in, day out, because it does come back and people do take notice of what you're doing. So Tatiana, like with you, you've got, small kids at home right now. And I know as a single mom, you've got challenges. So you got to be like laser focused on what's going to move the needle every day and not letting anything derail you, because they're watching your every move. Your children are.
It's like you're under or 2 magnifying glasses, right?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
But I'm very thankful. Like my daughter is very understanding as long as you explain to her, right? Like, listen, Mommy, like she wants to, like, some of her friends know how to ski, right? So over the winter, mind you, I'm from Florida, right? And I lived on a beach. Most of them are like, oh, let's go skiing. I'm like, sure.
Right?
Like cold, yay! No. So I was like, all right, Mommy. So then she loved it and she wanted to keep going. And she's like, well, Mommy, now I want lessons. I want to learn to do what my friend does, where she just swoops in and doesn't fall, or, she doesn't biff and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yeah, Mommy. I was like, well, okay, so Mommy has to work harder now. So what I tell her is you have to help me help you. Or you have to help me give you what you want, right? So Mommy has to work longer hours, right? So you have to be understanding that when Mommy goes out to show homes, or I have to bring you with me, it's all because this is how mommy is going to be able to give you swimming lessons and ice skating lessons and now skiing lessons and horseback riding lessons and all these different things, which I love to give you. I was like, but you just have to help me help give to you. And my son is a little bit smaller. He's 4. So he's like, whatever, mom, bye. But as long as he's entertained and he's okay. Or if he wants to come, he's like, oh, we're going for a ride. And so I make it fun. And so if we're driving by, I'm like, if you see a for sale sign, you tell mommy. And so we make it fun and interactive because obviously it's already hard enough that they have to be in the car with me. So I make it fun, or we make it educational. And I'm like, how many houses, do you think, because we have a lot of 2-family homes. So if they're tall and big, I'm like, do you think there's one house, or there's 2 houses in that house? And so at the beginning, my daughter was like, what do you mean? How can there be 2 houses in one house? So I'm like, well, about like 2 apartments, right? In one house. And she's like, oh, I completely see that. And so then like we started making it fun and interactive. So now when we're driving, she'll be like, look, mom, it's a for rent sign. Or look, mom, it's a for sale sign.
Yes.
So, we make it fun and we make it interactive. I do agree. Like I do talk to them a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just good. I mean, my son is a little now sort of understanding a lot more. But obviously when he was smaller, I would show houses with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old that was backwards facing.
You do what you have to do.
Yeah. And so, at the beginning it was hard. I had just gotten into real estate, had just became a single mom. And so I was like, ooh, how are we going to do this? So it was like nonstop. And it still continues. It's just like, mom, when can we go on vacation? I'm like, it's like, I know, mommy, we're going to get there. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So with you guys together, there's like a different dynamics because Tatiana, you have small kids. Ohana, you have large, teenagers. So you've been through what Tatiana is going through right now. So
Yes.
how has that made you redefine your goals? I would think your goals have grown and expanded because where one is weak, the other is probably strong, and you can lean on each other. Is that true? How has that shaped your goals?
So we
Definitely,
have individual goals, but we work on them together. Right. And so, but we've also put together like a minimum deals that we're looking to do on a monthly basis. Right. So that way it's like before this, we were thinking like 5 because obviously there was a lot going on. And because we're still somewhat in complete quarantine. You can't have open houses. You can't do this. You can't do that. We have a lot more restrictions. We're like, all right, let's do this. But like yesterday, we were able to go interview somebody for a property in like 20 minutes from here. And so we went together. First, realtor safety mostly because, it's better if we have to, especially when it's a little further away. And so then we ended up going to a client that we've been working. We were under contract, and unfortunately, that deal died. So we ended up going there. We did a live video of the property. We couldn't get into the house because we were using the wrong keys.
The wrong key. The key from the previous listing, from the list that we had just gotten. We were using it.
I'm like, what? And so we tried and so this is like a really old school brokerage where they make you come into the office.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to go to the office. I'm like, we are not leaving without showing this house. Like, because our client was like, this is the one I love. It looks amazing. And so we're looking in the window. We're like trying to figure out like, how do we get in here? I jumped the fence to try and see maybe.
Oh my
gosh. So I'm like, well, these keys, you know how it is. Then obviously the keys are for the back door. But they weren't for the back door. It just so happens that Holjanys happened to have them in her hand the whole time.
No, they were in the cup holder, and you grabbed the wrong key.
That's never good.
So, like the sweet spot was being able to FaceTime the client and walk her through the whole thing and her say, okay, let's write an offer.
So she wasn't physically at the property.
No, She still
No.
hasn't seen it, and we're already pretty much in what we call attorney review, right? So
Attorney
an
review.
accepted offer, and their attorneys are talking to each other.
And she still has not been in the property, right?
Correct.
No.
Isn't that amazing, you guys?
Yeah.
You never would have thought that would have happened. That was very rare, prior to this happening. You'd have your out-of-state buyers that would buy things sight unseen, but rarely, It wasn't like
Right.
this is the norm now because you guys are stuck in your houses and can't get out. A lot of people are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing though how you can just go there, FaceTime them, talk to them about the property and just get it on the contract. And it's the way business is gonna be done from now on.
Did you find that more challenging for you to try to express that to your client?
No, she's been open to it from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we took her out on 2 properties, Tatiana.
Yeah,
That's it. And then everything else was virtual.
It's a whole new world, isn't it?
It is.
So Tatiana, for people that are listening right now, here in Houston, the kids aren't going back to school. They've already said that. So basically the kids are at home. They're going to finish the school year at home. What would you say to those moms out there that are listening to you right now? Because I've talked to a lot of moms that are very frustrated. They've now been in their houses on week 5 and having to homeschool small children and try to be a real estate agent, and it's very overwhelming to them. What words of advice could you give to these moms?
Well, I had a great coaching call on Monday, right? And so that coach told me, and it's actually like daunting once you like think about it this way, is whatever your schedule was pre-quarantine, throw it out. Throw it out, because that's what your life was prior to, and you can't hold yourself accountable or still try to do everything that was in that space, right? Make a new schedule. Do you have to maybe get up half an hour later, or do you have to get up half an hour before, or do you have to go to sleep half an hour later? And literally define what your new schedule is going to be. Stop trying to put your old life into this new schedule.
I love that.
Just set up a new way of doing things. So for me, because of homeschooling, like I look at what all the schedules, or they send a weekly schedule of what all the work needs to be doing, right? So on this day they need to do pages 1 through 10. So I'm like, okay, that's going to take 25 minutes, right? The first time I thought I like overshot it, and some others I undershot. So I'm like, ooh, right? But just have grace with yourself, and know that this is crisis schooling, right? This is not normal. And if you homeschool, this is not how you do it, right? It's completely different. So be graceful with yourself, write a complete new schedule, and just try and check off as much as you can. If you can't get to everything done, it's okay. Have a catch-up day. Like I've been giving myself a couple of catch-up hours to try, and whether it's cooking, whether it's doing laundry, or whatever it is, because right now I'm 4 people in 1.
Yes.
And that's not normal. We're not normally a chef all day and a teacher all day, and we're not a person that is an employee or a business owner all day and has to manage the pipeline and the work and a lot of different things, right?
And a parent.
All other things while you're if if you like your Holjanys or anybody else that has then you're a partner all day and you're constantly in each other's. You don't have that space to be able to just be you. And then another thing that my coach I love, and he told me this, which is so true: do something for you. Find 15 minutes of whatever makes you happy and just do it, right? So for me, it's dancing, right? I like to dance. So I get up, I go down to the basement, I lock myself up, and I put music and you just bop around, and it's like, woo! But if it's reading, if it's having a nice cup of tea, or if it's you miss having coffee with your friend, FaceTime them, Zoom them, WhatsApp them, video, and just still have that, right? We're still very social beings.
Yes.
So interaction, even if it's virtual, it just gives your mind that like, it's like, here was the little social interaction, but do something for you. Because we're all in, whether it's your mom or your dad or you're not, or you're just not either one of them, you still need to do something for you, something that feeds your soul and it just makes you happy.
I love that. So, Holjanys, you're on the other end of it. You've got teenagers, you know, so your life is a little bit more different than Tatiana's. So, for those moms out there that are listening to you right now, what would you say to them to help them get through this time, whether they're single or married or whatever? They still have kids that they have to deal with and run a business. What could you say to them?
Be wise and patient, especially with the teenagers. It's hard, you know, and my daughter is used to going out. She says that she hates being indoors. So for the first 2 weeks, it was easy. She abided by it. She was fine. But like by the third week, she had a meltdown, a complete meltdown that I had not seen since she was a toddler. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, I'm tired. I'm tired of being here. I can't take it anymore. So just be wise, and have patience. No, don't lose it. That's all I can say. And you know, to second Tatiana's, take time for yourself. Even if it's you lock yourself in the basement, in the bathroom, in a closet. Just take some time to breathe. And I have scheduled the virtual coffee dates with my friends, and that totally helps. So I mean, for the most part, the teenagers are on the TV and on the games, but there comes that time when they're like, oh my God, I'm just tired of being home. So just patience, and it's the key.
I love that. You guys, final words for everybody out there that's looking at the rest of 2020. What do you think? And I'll go with you first, Tatiana. What are one thing that you could say for any real estate agent that's paying attention? What is one piece of advice you could give to them for the rest of this year?
Schedule. I think you need to focus on your schedule, right? So prospecting, and this is why I love my coach so much. So if you guys have any questions about coaching, definitely try and find a coach. And if you need a referral, I got a really great one.
We got a really great one.
But no, so to be able to keep up with what's happening, and you know, we're still being, you know, since we don't end school till like June, they haven't announced that we're not going back to school.
Okay.
No, we're close. We have to wait until the 15th of May. But just, you have to double down. And we have been prospecting like crazy, right? So something that has worked for me and Holjanys, because we need to look for progress instead of saying, okay, I need to get to these many yeses. Now we have a cutoff sheet, right? Or like a triangle that says, this is how many no's we need. So we feel more accomplished because we need to see the needle move. So for how many yeses have I gotten? We're like, oh no, how many no's have I gotten? So we know that out of 100, only we're looking
90 no's.
90 no's. So now we're like, so then we're like at 55. Yeah, we're almost there. Instead of only been one, which is, you know, demoting for her and I, but you just have to find what works for you. And
well, it's a mindset when you look at it from that mannerism, because you're like, if I'm trying to get to 90 no's, every time I get a no on the phone, I'm like, yes, that's awesome.
Yes,
you know?
right.
It's totally different. And you're cheering for no's, you know? Instead of,
and it keeps you going. It really keeps you going. Like instead of getting down because somebody said no, you're like, okay, another one. I'm
closer to my goal. Every time you get closer to your goal,
right.
you get that second win. You're like, yes. So, Holjanys, what is one word or a little bit of advice that you would give to a real estate mom, perhaps out there watching? What should she be focused on from here on out for the rest of this year?
Keep going. Time block and just keep going. A quick story. When this all started, for like the first week, I did not want to call people. I didn't want to lead generate. because I was afraid of, okay, what am I going to get on the other end? I don't want to speak to somebody and for them to be like, oh, I just lost a family member, don't call me. So I was speaking to another friend of mine and I mentioned that to her and she was like, and that really resonated with me. She was like, you know, you can encounter that without a crisis, right? Like she's like, you can call up somebody and they'll tell you, I just lost a family member. And she basically told me, just, you know, get over it and keep going. So that's my message to all those real estate agents. This is the new norm. This is how life is going to be. And yes, what's going on is unfortunate, but there's still a lot of us, a lot of us and a lot of people out there that need help with real estate. So we just have to, you know, just say a prayer in the morning, get our mindset right, and just keep going.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, where can anyone find you guys if they want more information? Remember, y'all, they're in New Jersey, but that doesn't mean they can't help you anywhere. Tatiana, you go first. Where can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram and, you know, LinkedIn, just Tatiana Leon. You can find me there. Facebook, most of the time. So you send a friend request or you send me a message. So that's usually where I'm at.
Holjanys, how about you?
Same. Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, everything. And my phone number is 862-888-8545. So you can call me, you can shoot me a message, you can find me.
I love it. Thanks for being here, you guys. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Have
for
a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.